Simple Tales presents The Musician Who Charmed the Sea Spirits, a Korean folktale. Have you ever wondered why music can move people to tears without speaking a single word? A melody can cross every border, calm an angry heart, and awaken memories long forgotten. The old storytellers of Korea believed that true music does more than entertain. It reminds every living soul that harmony is stronger than fear. This is the story of the musician who played for the sea itself. Long ago, on Korea's eastern coast, there stood a small fishing village where every family depended upon the waves. Each morning, the fishermen sailed before sunrise. Each evening, they returned with nets full of silver fish, and the village echoed with laughter. Among them lived a young musician named Haneul. Unlike the fishermen, Haneul earned little. He owned no boat. He possessed no fields. His greatest treasure was an old bamboo flute carved by his late grandfather. Before passing away, the old man had placed it in Haneul's hands. "This flute," he had whispered, "cannot command the sea. But if your heart remains honest, it may help the sea remember kindness." Haneul never fully understood those words. Still, every evening, he climbed the cliffs overlooking the ocean and played as the sun slipped below the horizon. His melodies drifted across the water with the evening breeze. Seabirds circled overhead without fear. Children gathered quietly to listen. Even the restless waves seemed to soften whenever the flute sang. Years passed peacefully. Then, one autumn, everything changed. The fish vanished. Day after day, the boats returned with nets as empty as pockets. Storms arrived without warning. Strong winds shattered masts. Dark waves swallowed nets and nearly claimed lives. Hunger spread through the village like a slow fever. Babies cried at night. Fathers sat silent at empty tables. Some whispered that an angry sea dragon had awakened beneath the waves. Others believed forgotten sea spirits had grown resentful. No one knew the truth. One evening, after another day without a catch, an old woman approached Haneul. Her face was lined like weathered driftwood. Her feet were bare, though the stones were cold. "You still play for the sea," she said. Haneul looked at his flute. "Someone must." The old woman studied him for a long moment. "Then play as if the sea has already given you everything," she said, "not as if it owes you something." She turned and walked into the dusk. Haneul stood alone. That night, he climbed higher than ever before, to a cliff where the waves crashed against ancient black rocks and the wind threatened to tear the flute from his hands. He closed his eyes. He thought of the empty nets, the hungry children, the silence at supper. He raised the flute to his lips and played a song of begging. The notes scattered like frightened birds. The wind swallowed them. The sea roared on, indifferent. Haneul lowered the flute. His hands trembled. "Grandfather," he whispered, "I do not know how to thank something that has taken everything." He sat on the wet stone. He thought of the old woman's words. Then he thought of the years before the hunger. The laughter of children, the courage of tired fishermen, the silver flash of fish in the morning light, the gratitude his grandfather had taught him to feel for every gift the sea had given. He raised the flute again. This time, he played not for rescue. He played for memory. The melody carried every hope of the village, the laughter that had once echoed through the streets, the courage of men who still sailed into grey mornings, the sorrow of empty tables, and the quiet, stubborn gratitude of a people who had never stopped loving the water, even when it turned against them. The notes drifted across the dark water. Far below, something stirred. The waves stopped crashing. The wind faded into silence. Moonlight spread across the ocean until it shimmered like polished glass. Then figures slowly rose from the water. They were unlike any humans Haneul had ever seen. Their robes flowed like living tides. Their hair drifted as though still beneath the sea. But it was their hands that held his gaze, translucent and pale, and through them Haneul saw the stars shifting like silver fish. The sea spirits had come. None spoke. Instead, they listened. When the final note faded into the night, the tallest spirit stepped forward. Her voice sounded like wind inside an empty shell. "For many years," she said, "people have taken from the sea. They have forgotten the sound of gratitude." She looked at Haneul's flute. "Tonight you did not ask. You remembered." Haneul bowed his head. "The sea has always fed us. We should never have forgotten." The spirit raised one translucent hand. "The fish will return. But abundance is not a gift given once. It is a promise kept forever." She looked past him toward the sleeping village. "The first catch of every season belongs to the deep. Teach them that, or we will not come again." Then they sank beneath the water. The ocean remained perfectly still. Haneul returned home before dawn. He told the villagers what he had seen. Many smiled kindly. An old fisherman shook his head. "Music does not fill a net, boy." But as the first boats sailed into the morning mist, something remarkable happened. Schools of fish surrounded every vessel. The nets grew heavy once more. The sea, once violent, became calm. Even during storm season, the waves seemed gentler than before. Prosperity returned. The fishermen celebrated with great feasts. They praised their boats, they praised their luck. But Haneul remembered the spirit's warning. He gently reminded everyone that abundance should never become entitlement. From that year onward, the village began every fishing season with music instead of celebration. No nets entered the water before a song of gratitude drifted across the waves. And the first fish of every catch was returned to the sea with thanks. Children learned to care for the shoreline. Broken nets were gathered instead of abandoned. The elders taught that the sea was not an enemy to conquer, nor merely a treasure to exploit. It was a living partner deserving respect. The old storytellers of Korea never claimed that music possessed magical power. They believed something far greater. A sincere heart can restore harmony where anger has taken root. Gratitude can calm storms that force alone cannot overcome. And when people learn to live in balance with the world around them, even the sea may answer with kindness. Thank you for listening to Simple Tales. If you enjoyed this story, please like, share, and subscribe for more timeless tales from around the world. Until next time, may you always find harmony wherever life carries you.